पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। We had seen in the morning class that the seeker is differentiated from the worldly person, not from where he lives, or not what he does, or not what he puts on, the dress. The seeker is differentiated from where he seeks the solution. We see sorrow, but he does not see the sorrow belonging to situation. He does not see sorrow, somebody is not giving him sorrow. He will feel it is my mental makeup which has developed a wrong capacity to catch sorrow. Audible? Okay. So he has developed a mental wrong capacity to catch sorrows. There is one place, it is written there, Pragya Aparadhev Dukkham. Vachaspati Mishra says at one place, the mistake done to the in understanding is called sorrow. Pragya Aparadhev Dukkham. See, beautiful line is there. So, there is no situational sorrow, there is no relational sorrow. The sorrow is born out of some kind of misinterpretation about self and the world. I am wrongly understanding myself. I am wrongly understanding myself is called sorrow. Pragya Aparadhev Dukkham. So, all of you must be knowing simple Sanskrit. I will use certain words. It is interesting and it is important to know because this Upanishad will demand little more understanding. So when a person feels that nobody is the cause of my, he has not given me anger, but in me only there was a dissatisfied I. This person brought my dissatisfied I. I was already dissatisfied from within. He brought it out. I went to Bhilwara in Rajasthan and somebody's house I went. So some Amma was welcoming me or seeing me, she started crying badly. I thought what I have done, I did not talk also. I didn't do anything. So I asked somebody, sorry if then that person said what I am saying, that she already had lot of sorrow. Seeing you, she felt little consoled and she started crying. So never say anybody gave me sorrow or gave me anger. It was all our hidden I manifests in our life through certain situation. Situation are actually I manifester. देखो, every situation, the hidden I brought it out. Like you had a eye to hear the Upanishad. This situation has brought it out. Okay, so never see that situation. And therefore, the address of our ignorance, address of our sorrows is the ignorance about our I. Because so many I's are there, we don't know which I am. And therefore, Upanishad is the Brahma Vidya. So we'll see what is Brahma Vidya, don't get worried about that. Sad had two meaning, if you remember. So one which takes away the sorrow, another was which gives the anand. So dukkham avasadhyati anand prapyati iti sat. That takes away all the sorrows and that takes you to all joy, that is called sat. Now let me come to ni. Ni indicates the condition for gaining this knowledge. Nishchayatma gyan should be there. Samshaya rahit gyan should be there. The knowledge that I am talking about, that knowledge should be clear, without doubt, free from viparya. So, Shravan removes the asambhavana dosh. Shravan removes that is there, Brahmatma is there. That is called sambhavana dosh. Listening removes is there Brahman. Is there Atma which can be not said also. This is the work of Shravanam. So Shravan word, you translate as listening, but technically that which removes the impossibility of oneness of Atma with the Brahman. That is called Shravan. Manan removes samshaya, that okay, I accept but I have certain doubt. So which removes all doubt, that knowledge which is doubtless. And after hearing also and after thinking also, if this knowledge has not taken place, that means we have emotional problems. Emotional problem, you understand? Emotional problem. Even after knowing, I identify with a certain thought. This is what people say, I'm not able to change. I know it, but I don't. My response are same. My response to the situation has not changed much. That means there is a set of thoughts which are very close to you and me, which come out. And if they are the wrong thoughts, I have to put deliberate attempt to get out of it from the process of meditation. So that is called viparya nivritti, removal of viparya. Okay. So ni indicates that clear knowledge is there without doubt. So first was sad, second is say ni, upani. So first you have to say. And then last word is up. Up indicates method of gaining knowledge. Method of gaining knowledge is guru upsadanam. That means going to the teacher. Well, supposing I read by myself, you cannot, even if you read and you understand, there has to be someone who has to tell exactly what meaning is there. There should be no abhiman of I understood. I'm repeating it. Supposing you understood the point. So after you understand the point by yourself, there will be abhiman that I studied and I understood. So that culprit to remove which all the Upanishad is there, it has come in some other form. And of course there can be mistake in understanding. So up indicates, therefore it is said Acharyavan, pura karo, Acharyavan Purusho Veda. Who will know? One who has Acharya. Chandogya Upanishad. Every big thing in this world is hidden. ABCD somebody taught, then only you could understand. Driving lessons are also there. Nobody can just say, I didn't see anybody and just drove. Everything is taught here. Later on you can catch more things, but initially something has to be taught. Later on you can build bricks over it. So Guru Upadesh Shravanam, that is called Guru Shastra Pramana Dwara Prapti. So this is the meaning of the word. Bolo, up. Okay. So up ho gaya. Upanishad. Up means going close to that teacher. If you don't go close, that tapasya, the knowledge which is gained without tapasya and vinay, that can increase abhiman. So knowledge can be one which can increase abhiman and dvesh also. It depends how the knowledge has been taken, whether it will fructify or not. Knowledge per se will not give you knowledge, but how that knowledge has been taken decides how much you will internalize that knowledge and how much that knowledge will change the nature. Okay? And therefore, earlier days they used to ask permission from this teacher. Knowledge they used to ask permission, then the knowledge was gained. So this is called up plus ni plus shad. I hope this is clear. So knowledge should not be in Bhashyakar. He says in Mundak Bhashya, at one place he said, Vale shastragya api, vidwan api, swatantrena brahma vidya dhyanam na kuryat. Even when somebody is quite well read, he should not read Upanishad independently. Because Upanishad, I will mention what is the Upanishad. It is a Praman. I will tell what is the Praman. So let me first conclude the meaning of Upanishad in one line now. I will come planning on Up plus Ni plus Shad. So that knowledge which destroys the ignorance and takes us to joy, when it is clearly gained and assimilated by going to a capable teacher. What a very such a long sentence. What to do? That knowledge which destroys the ignorance takes us to joy and is known clearly, completed, after being approached, after going to a capable teacher, not any teacher. After going to a capable teacher, that knowledge is called Upanishad. Lot is communicated. Upanishad is this word. I am going through it slowly so that you are clear about that. So first we saw Sat, then we saw Ni, then we saw. Now, next point. There is something called Pramana. Pramana. Pramana means what? Pramayaha asadharan karanam pramanam. Like eyes are the means of knowledge. In English you say means of knowledge. Some Sanskrit word will say pramana only. So Sanskrit will be saying something very long and very short. Like eyes are the means of knowledge for seeing. You eyes cannot say that this food is tasty. I get deluded many times. So, because the means of the pramana for the food is not the eyes, but the tongue is the pramana. Some food appears very tasty after seeing, and I approach with lot of joy. And sometimes, you take more also because you think it is very delicious. Moment to take one spoon, then you feel, how will I finish this? Because that judgment of the eyes was wrong. Sve vishayaha pramana shuram bhavati. This pramana are brave in their own areas. Eyes are not, it is sandigdha, it will be doubtful knowledge. Taste is pramana only. Taste cannot tell about the form. You close the eyes and you eat, you can't tell what is the form of a thing. Got my pramana? So pramana means what? Pramana means what? Which is the cause of a prama. Prama. Ma means knowledge. Prama means prakarshyan ma. Right knowledge. Like Amma is there. Amavasya. Amma nahi. Amma. Amma means absence of knowledge. Brahma means wrong knowledge. देखो कैसा है, ama, brahma, prama, sama, same knowledge is there. See the word. You can play with Sanskrit and enjoy. So what is the cause of the prama is called pramana. Pramana. And for one prama, only one pramana is required. You can't have two pramanas for one prama. Morning also I was talking about asandigdham, abhaditam, etc. So pramana is there. One more point. There is lot of kind of pramana. I think in the Kathopanishad camp I had touched upon this. There is something called pratyaksh pramana. There is something called anuman pramana. Very good. Third? You are also there or what? Acha. Anuplabdhi pramana. Fourth? Arthapatti pramana. Fifth? Upaman pramana. And sixth? Shabd pramana. You know everything, why should I take? So, one is called pratyaksh pramana. It takes 18 classes to talk on pramana. I am not touching upon that too much. I'll just give you so that you can see the Upanishad with a different... It's not a book. It's a pramana. Because pratyaksh pramana means that which is seen by the senses, any senses. Aksh does not mean eyes. Aksh means any sense organ. Okay? Anuman means inferential knowledge. Inferential. Inferential knowledge is there. When you see something and feel something is there, you see the shoes outside and you see that lot of people must be there inside. Okay? That is called Anuman Pramana. You see the fire, and you see the smoke, and you have the thought of knowledge of fire. So mutual coexistence is there, therefore you can see that Anuman Pramana. Third was? Third was? No. Third is Arthapatti. Arthapatti. Postulate. Arthapatti means you see that somebody, his house you saw, very big house is there. So you postulate that he must be having lot of money. It's quite a big house is there, palatial house. And that is called Arthapatti Pramana. Anuplabdhi Pramana is there, something is absence. Something is not there, you see that it is not there. Upaman Pramana is there. Upaman Pramana means what? Somebody is beating someone. So you have a pain. Because when you were sometimes beaten, you also feel that. So that is called Upaman Pramana. Simile is there. But interesting thing is, all Pramana, how many Pramana? And last is Shabda Pramana. Like mother says, this is watch. So this is, how does she know? Bole my mother told. This is called Shabda Pramana. So all the Pramana are based on Pratyaksh Pramana. All are children of Pratyaksh Pramana. No problem, I will tell you what is the problem. The self cannot be known by any of these Pramana. Why? Because anything which is Pratyaksh, it is an object of knowledge. It is in front of the senses. That which is the source and subject of knowledge is not the topic of Pratyaksh Pramana. You cannot say Atma is blue, yellow, etc. If Atma is blue, yellow, who saw that? Then who saw will be different than blue, yellow. Yeah. Many times I hear, it may be possible, but in my meditation I saw blue Atma. I said, who saw? Blue Atma cannot see blue Atma. The one who saw that Atma will be different from that what is seen. Is it clear? And therefore, Atma cannot be known by Pratyaksh Pramana. And all other Pramana are known, are the children and grandchildren of Pratyaksh Pramana. Therefore, all Pramana fall down. Therefore, Atma cannot be known by any worldly pramana. Then how do I know the Atma? How do I know the nature of the self? Difficult to know. Is it becoming difficult? Even if it is becoming difficult, keep on listening. After listening, it will become easy. Well, I'm so tired. No, now you have come, you can't run away now. Now you have to hear. We have to hear 3 weeks. Yes, this is the first day only. So difficult. No. So Atma cannot be known by any of the pramana. Then comes what is called, there are Shabda Pramana, which is Laukik Shabda Pramana and Vedic Shabda Pramana. One is worldly Shabda Pramana, other is called, which is non-worldly Shabda Pramana. Now comes the Vedas. Vedas are the Praman. Praman means means of right knowledge, in short. And that knowledge about the Atma, that Vedas will tell. So Vedas are not going to tell directly what is Atma objectively. Vedas will remove so Praman is, dhyan dena, Praman is nivartakatvam pramanamatvatvam. That which removes the wrong knowledge is called Praman. All are good definitions. I like that a lot. Supposing I say, I know that person very well now. I thought he was not good, but now I am very clear he is a very good person. So this Praman has removed the wrong knowledge about that. So nivartakatvam pramanatvam. So Praman has not created any object. It has removed the knowledge. Like the torch light I throw on something. So I say, okay, this is a pot. So all knowledge, whether it is something else, has gone. So Vedas are removing the wrong knowledge about the Atma. And therefore, for Atma, we don't have Laukik Praman, we have Vedic Praman. Just know that slowly you will you will get better. Don't worry about this. If you are understanding, good. Not understanding, very good. Don't worry. Relax. So please don't see this as a book written by somebody. Vedas are revealed to the rishis. Achha. Electromagnetic waves are here also. Electromagnetic waves are here also. But if you don't have an instrument, when mobile was not invented, then also electromagnetic waves were there. But the instrument catches those electromagnetic waves. Is it okay? So, certain words were caught by the rishis who caught the mantras of the Vedas. Therefore, Rish Dhatu means Gyan. Rish. Like Rishabh Dev. Rish means Gyan. One who catches those knowledge is called Rishi. Not anybody can be called Rishi. His name may be Rishi, no problem. But technical definition of Rishi is, koi bolo? Mantra drashta Rishi uchyate. See, we are in Vedanta, they are very, very miser about definitions. We have no loose sentences. Because you can't have many meanings and we are not going to use it lightly. So, how is it possible? Many things are possible. Supposing somebody is a medical person. That medical person, when he is thinking about some disease, and patient comes and patient is saying, I have a pain here. And he has not heard about that problem. Then what will do? What he will do? Think. And when he will think, he will have many options. Please note, the solution for that problem is existing. He has only to catch it. And then he will use the word, it struck me. Very nice word is, it is not striking. I don't know what's the problem, it's not striking. Genius of a person in any area is the ability to catch the higher thought, solution giving thought about some problem in that area. फिर से बोल दें. Supposing musician is there. So one is called Sangeet Rasik, other is called Sangeet Rasagya. One who enjoys music is one thing, but one who composes music is another thing. So composers are very few. So when he is thinking about which rag will this fit into, he will think about certain rag. And out of that thought, maybe the best rag which is fitting into, it will always strike. It will want to strike to you and me. One who has the equipment, and therefore in universities, they don't use the word subject, they use the word discipline. They will say, what is your discipline? I like that. Well, my discipline is I'm in metaphysics. That means you have disciplined your mind to catch certain thought. I hope it is clear. So you and I won't follow, that thought is there. That thought is there about, in every subject thought is there. About engineering also thought is there. Of this, this Chandrayaan which has gone, many scientists sit together in ISRO and they are thinking. Thinking is nothing, but you are catching a thought about that area which is solving a bigger problem. And more bigger problem anybody can solve, bigger is his genius and bigger is his value. I hope it is clear. Just think, there are rishis who have contemplated and meditated and they have heard the mantras. बोले ऐसा भी होता है, हमको तो नहीं पता चला. What you are not the proof. If you make your equipment like that, you will also hear. So this rishi had heard certain mantras, and those mantras which were heard, therefore Gayatri you see, Vishwamitra Rishi. There is something called Viniyog. In Viniyog, have you heard Viniyog? Anybody does? So in Viniyog, 4 things are there. Mantra, Chand, then Devta and Prayojan. You have to say this. This Gayatri mantra was not made by Vishwamitra Rishi. It was heard by him. Therefore it is called Shruti. Shruti. Shruyate iti. Which has been heard. The Vedas, another name for Vedas is Shruti. I hope you are clear. That Shruti tells, that is called Alaukik Shabda Pramana. ठीक है. Difficult? Difficult? Not that difficult. Easy, I think. Laukik Shabda Praman is, you can see an object. This is called mic. This is. But Atma cannot be called this is, because it is not the object. It is not based on Pratyaksh Praman. And therefore it is called Alaukik Shabda Praman. So please understand, this Upanishad is not a book. It is a Praman. Can I use another word? This is the third eye. This is eye. To see what? To see the self. And therefore, in the Kathopanishad Bhashyam, Shankaracharya Bhagavan says, Upanishad Shabdena Brahma Vidya Uchyate. By the word Upanishad, Brahma Vidya is mentioned. Now I will go ahead. What do you mean by that? I'll now move forward. Acha, the word praman is praman and prama. Praman and prama. There are two words I am using. So prama means knowledge. Knowledge is where? Where is the address of knowledge? Huh? Where? No. We have not. Huh? In mind. All knowledge is in the mind. I said this is the paperweight. You said where mind and knowledge is there. Don't see in the Atma. Just leave the Atma for some time. Knowledge is in the mind. Every knowledge is in the mind. That through which knowledge is there may be in a book or a word form. Through which knowledge is there is in the word form. But knowledge per se is a kind of a thought. Okay. Again, knowledge, any knowledge is in the form of thought. And that knowledge is technically called, which has been generated by a proper means of knowledge, is called prama. And then that which generates that knowledge is called pramana. So Upanishad is prama or pramana? Upanishad is praman or prama? Secondary meaning of Upanishad is praman. It is a means of knowledge. Primary meaning of Upanishad is that knowledge in the mind. Well, it is so difficult. I did not know it was so difficult. How will I pass 21 days? Never mind. The primary meaning of knowledge, mukhya arth, every knowledge is in the mind. So knowledge of the Atma also should be in the mind. But that through which the knowledge of the Atma is there is in the word form. That word, that collection of the words through which the primary meaning is there, that is called praman. So arthata it is prama. Shabdata it is praman. Okay. So we will use these words to get the knowledge. So knowledge of the Atma, which you will have by the end of this course. Oh my God, I will have knowledge. How will I go in the home? Don't worry, you can go. This knowledge, which is formed in the mind, will remove the ignorance. But we will use the equipment. Like I am using the equipment called eyes to know the form, and tongue to know the taste, and ears to know the sound. So this equipment which we will use, which is the collection of Shabda Rashi, that will be called Pramana. So Pramana also is Upanishad, Prama also is Upanishad. Shabdata it is Praman. Arthata it is Prama. Okay. Praman, by chanting of the Praman, it won't remove ignorance. If you chant Brihadaranyaka, it can increase your punyam. But it won't bring out that knowledge which the teacher will try to bring in the Upanishad. Because therefore a lot of chanting is there. Taittiriya Upanishad chanting is there. Ishavasya chanting is there. Chanting, that is good. But for Prama, chanting won't work. You have to go and understand exactly what that meaning of that statement is. And therefore, Shankaracharya Bhagavan says that Vidya is always in the mind, Vidya is not in the book. I will say, please bring the book. You won't say, please bring the knowledge. You will say, through the book I will have knowledge. So actually speaking, really speaking, the Upanishad Shabd means really, Mukhyarth, is Vidya which is in the mind. So Upanishad's main address is in the knowledge. I hope this is clear.